Bon matin, bonjour. I have a whiteboard right here. Last year during Tour de Fleece, I was using a mirror to write down how many Rolex I was spinning up and just keep the tally there. I thought it was gonna be super artsy, super aesthetic to then shoot myself through the mirror with the numbers around my face. It just ended up flattening my face, so it really looked funny. It was super small. You couldn't see the writing, it was all smushed. All that to say, this morning I quickly remembered I have a whiteboard. And I haven't used it in years because it was in my shoe closet behind my shoes. This year, I think we're gonna use a whiteboard and it's gonna be so much more aesthetic and legible. The only thing is, I don't have any markers for it. So till then, it'll be a Post-it board. And I also don't have an appropriate marker for that. So I used highlighter. Hopefully you can read it. Now, what is this all for? Well, today is actually the first day of Tour de Fleece. What is Tour de Fleece? It's an annual hand spinning event that goes alongside with the Tour de France, which is a cycling event. So for the 21 or 24 days, is it 21? I keep forgetting. So they cycle around France. Hand spinners decided to have a little bit of a marathon at the same time to support them, but also just to have a really good excuse to spin some yarn, especially in the summer months when it's warm. You don't really want to knit anything. So hand spinning is a bit more, it's woolly, but not as like on you woolly. While they cycle and pedal at their wheel, we cycle and treadle at our wheel or spindle, whatever way you can spin some yarn. You can find a community to join anywhere. They're available on Instagram, Ravelry, or you can join the Discord server down below, which is my little Tour de Fleece community. Mine is a really low stakes, chill Tour de Fleece. Everybody sets up their own specific goals. If you're curious about what I'm gonna be spinning this year, the exact projects and fibers that I'm gonna be spinning with and for, I have a whole video where I planned all of that out. I highly recommend you check it. It's like the pre-Tour de Fleece. Today's video is actually gonna be week one, seeing how much I can spin and where that will end up leading me to. I'm very excited. Hopefully you can either knit along with me while you're watching this or maybe spin some yarn. Let me know what you're up to and let's talk about the numbers on this whiteboard. But right before we get everything set up, I do want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Ana Luisa. As you guys know, I've been partnering with Ana Luisa for countless videos now. They are my go-to jewelry brand for simple, classic, elegant, staple pieces. I just love their gold and silver, and as someone who has sensitive skin, I tend to get really itchy and burny ears with most earrings, but with Ana Luisa, because they're hypoallergenic, I do not have to worry about that whatsoever. I wear them while I work out, while I shower. I even sleep in them because they're so comfortable. I actually forget to take them off. Ana Luisa also offers a 2-year warranty if you aren't satisfied with your pieces or if anything goes wrong, they have you covered, and that's just how much they care about their clientele. Ana Luisa was so kind to send me this beautiful pearl necklace. I don't know what it is, but ever since I've seen Claire Foy wear pearls in The Crown, I know it's an older TV show, but I've just wanted my very own pearl necklace. The pearls are actual freshwater pearls, and the fact that it has the most adorable little heart pendant, it is perfect and just works so well with my knit pieces. I also don't really like to wear big chunky pieces, so most of the jewelries I do own are more dainty, minimalist, but I still like to stack them and combine, mix and match metals. So I've been searching for some rings that will allow me to spin yarn and knit, but still be functioning and wearable without making me even feel that they're there. And of course, Ana Luisa did not let down because I just picked up these 3 rings here. They are stack rings and they're silver. I just love these rings so much and I've been knitting with them, spinning with them. They aren't getting in the way, they're stackable, and they're really nice, beautiful, tarnish resistant. Ana Luisa just gets me. So if you're searching for the perfect jewelry piece to add to your knitwear outfits this summer or just as a gift, I can't suggest Ana Luisa enough. Their link is in the description box down below, so be sure to check them out and let me know what pieces you get. Thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. The hair is up. We're getting into the marathon. It's getting serious. I am gonna have to find a way to also have this be somewhere once I get the markers, because I don't really know what to do with it just right now. So I'm gonna put it on the floor, but those numbers represent my hand processed wool that I washed back in May. There's an entire video on how I washed it, how I picked it, how I prepped it. It is 100% Rambouillet. Well, not 100% anymore, but it was 2 pounds of Rambouillet wool, and then I hand carded it on hand combs, or hand carders, not combs, with some Muga silk. There is about 10 to 15% Muga silk. I say 10 to 15 because I can't really know exactly. I weighed it by putting 4 to 5 grams of Rambouillet on my little kitchen scale. Well, it's the piggy scale. And I was just putting 4 to 5 grams, and then I put about 1 gram of silk. So these should technically all be the same. One of them was like 4 grams of Rambouillet and then like 1.5 grams of silk, whereas another one was almost 5 grams of Rambouillet with like a little under 1 gram of silk. That's gonna play around in the overall weight. So I say about 10 to 15% of silk. That is going to be my main spin for this year's Tilt the Fleece. And in total, this resulted in, which is what is on my whiteboard, 169 rolags. So we're gonna see how many I can spin today, the first day, and then I'm gonna use that as a sort of idea of where I can get to, or how quickly I can get through all of this wool. In total, this, with adding the silk, ended up being 671 grams of wool. This year is also going to be a little bit different. Not only do I have my Traveler wheel, but I also recently got the Magic Craft Susie wheel. I'm super excited to have 2 wheels. That means that I can do my main sweater spin on one of these, and on alternative days, I can work up one of the other plans that I have for Tilt the Fleece without filling up those bobbins or being worried about running out of bobbins. Because another spin that I have planned is these mystery dies. So this is from Bramble Ridge. It is her summer fiber box. I removed the sticker from the actual shipping box, but this year's theme is all about summer treats, ice creams, and popsicles. I hope these colors bring you the joy that a cold, sweet treat brings on a hot summer's day. So it's 6 days of 25 grams of wool. I decided to go with the ice cream cone or the scoops version. So it's a pastel color palette. There was popsicles, which was more of a popping color, more bright and just really pigmented colors. So I also decided to go with Haunui. She had Rambouillet silk, and Hanui as her fiber bases. Since my main spin was Rambouillet, it just made sense to go with the Haunui. Also, I love Haunui. So today we are going to be opening day 1. I will not be spinning this today. My plan with this is to open them up and spin them, do a combo draft. Now, I've never done combo drafting before, and combo drafting is when you take 2 braids, usually different colors or similar vibes, different dyes, and then you spin them up together by drafting them one alongside the other. I'm a little bit worried about that. We're gonna see how it works out. My fear is that it's just gonna result in a really bulky yarn because you're drafting twice the amount of fiber that you normally would draft, and at the same time trying to not have one pull more than the other because you want both colors to go into the single together. All of these are Hanui. I think the difference is some of them are just based off different sheep. Yeah. So for example, this is Haunui Fog. It is an 18.4 micron, where this one is Haunui Pearl, and she is a 21.5 micron count. Micron is just how fine your wool is. They're not all the same. Fog. Oatmeal, see, is 22.7 micron. I also believe that these names are their base shade, because Haunui, what is really fun is you can get a crisp white, you can get a very rich brown, and then you can get like a super black wool. The shades are insane. They also have beautiful, stunning icy cold grays or warmer grays. I just really love the shades of the Haunui. So we're gonna open this right now together. Ooh. Considering this is gonna be a much smaller spin, each of these are 25 grams, I think I'm gonna use my Traveler for it because the bobbins are smaller, whereas my Magic Craft can take up more yarn. I do have more Traveler bobbins, but I think for the big spin, it just makes more sense to not have to swap out the bobbin every like so-and-so. But I'm really, oh my God. It's so yellow. Oh my goodness. Wow. So this is today's, like a dessert yellow, kind of like a banana parfait. Or do you know those fake banana like marshmallow gummies? I used to love those so much. I mean, I still do. They don't taste like the banana fruit. They taste like an artificial banana, kind of like that pink medicine when you're a kid. I loved it so much. I don't know what it is, but this banana flavor, it gets to me. I've been trying to figure out how to make braids. I'm getting it. The only thing is, when you buy braids of fiber, they're so neatly packed and even. Mine are just like this looks fine, and then the back, what is this? I can't get it just quite yet. Ah, I can't wait to see tomorrow. At the same time, speaking of yellow, this is still incredibly damp because I washed it last night. Now this will not count in the tour at all. This was just me finishing up my spin on my wheel to get as many bobbins as I can for this. But it is such a fun yellow and pink and kind of just like a sunset vibe. There's a little bit of brown in here as well. This is the one braid of Hello Yarn with 2 braids from Myrtle Yarn. The Hello Yarn was merino, and that's where the brown kind of pops in from. And then the more peachy yellow was apricot leaf from Myrtle Yarn, and that one is a Cormo. So it was 2 braids of Cormo spun individually, like on a bobbin alone, and 1 braid of merino spun alone, and then all applied together. I still need to check what the wraps per inch is. This one was a big surprise. It was just 300 grams, and for some reason, it resulted in 615 meters of yarn. So I'm really curious. I feel like this might end up being like a sport or fingering weight. I have no plan for this whatsoever. This was just like a fun spin in between projects that I was working on. And yeah, the tour coming along just made me really kind of speed run through it. I also don't really know if this yellow works with my complexion too much or if it's too yellow. Yellow is like a weird, I really love yellow as a color, but it's just one of those tones that isn't in my color palette. I was thinking maybe I could make a shawl with this or use this in some color work, maybe in like a striped cardigan. That could be really cute. I don't know. But I wanted to show this because 650 meters of yarn with 3 braids. Insane. I don't usually get this much out of 3 braids or 300 grams. Did I tell you? I don't remember. For the spin, my main spin, my goal is to get a 3-ply worsted weight yarn. I don't normally spin worsted weight, so this is gonna be a challenge of its own. I just kind of default to sport weight or fingering weight. I tend to spin relatively thin. So we're gonna try to get a worsted weight. This wool is very bouncy, very squishy, and very just like squishes together and puffs up. So I do hope to be able to achieve a worsted weight because of that as well. And yeah, try to spin a little bit slower, trying to spin a little bit thicker of a yarn weight. I would just love to knit a really beautiful cardigan with it. I think that that would be beautiful. So for a worsted weight 3-ply, my singles need to be about a 28 to 34 wraps per inch. That's a pretty big difference, but that's also very thin, very thin. This is my wraps per inch guide. I got it at a fiber festival. And I also have the woolen spinning business card attached to my wraps per inch guide because it has the twist per inch on the back of her business card, which I think is so genius. It's like I have all her info here, but I also have a very handy tool at the back. 3 plied together, the singles would need to be 32 to 36 wrap per inch for a DK weight. 3 plied together for an Aran weight, it would need to be 24 to 28 wraps per inch. Worsted, 3 plied, like wrapped together, the singles need to be about 28 to 34 wraps per inch. I guess I would need somewhere along the middle, so maybe like a 30 wrap per inch. So this is a little bit tricky because my wraps per inch guide goes 32, 28, and 24. So I need to be at a 28, but a little bit thinner. Because 28 is also an Aran. Although I wouldn't mind it being a little bit thicker. It's such a squishy yarn when I knit it. I think the patterns that I selected for it, with the idea, if I do succeed, would work with a little bit thicker of a yarn as well. So we'll go with this. So worsted weight is 28 to 34 WPI for about a 30 WPI. Even though I don't have that on my barometer, we will just try 30-ish. So before I check the 3 ply together, my default right now for a worsted or a single ply is, it's almost 45 or 32. I would say more 32, which is way too thin. I knew this was gonna happen. This right here gives me about a 12 wraps per inch. So it's a little bit too thin. I just need to spin a little bit thicker. But do you see what I mean when I say like it kind of blooms? Like there's like a lot of stretch and it already puffed up a lot. With water and like rinsing this, even though my singles are spun really, really thin, I feel like this is just gonna bounce up. So I do have a little bit of leeway and give and take with that. So let's just keep spinning and have some fun. Good morning and happy day 2. I want to show you guys my mug for today because it's the holiday Moomin and Loewe collection, which is super cute. This costs way too much in shipping because Moomin is a European, and to get it here last year, like as soon as they announced, I wanted it and I didn't want it to go out of stock and it not be available. So I hit buy as soon as it was launched on their site, and then it cost the mug in shipping. So basically I paid for 2 mugs, but I got 1, but I just really love it. And it's like, what is this? Metal tin? Those camping mugs, whatever that material is, that's what this is made out of. But it is just super cute. I really like it. So that is what I'm drinking my coffee in, and you guys were a little bit crooked. Let's get the board, because you heard it right. It's day 2. I need to figure out a way to make this look nicer. I just really wanted to get into spinning, so the moment I got the markers, I just really ugly jotted down everything for, well, basically everything that we discussed. And yesterday I managed to spin up on Saturday. Oop, this should be a 1, not a 3. I'm imagining we're tomorrow already, but yesterday I managed to spin up a total of 14 Rolags. This morning I did 1 just before I caught up with you guys right now. That means that I did 15 Rolags out of the 169. Now looking at how much I spun yesterday, I quickly did a math to see if I was to do the full sweater spin, be my first week only, So divided by 7, it ended up being about 24 ROLAGs a day. I did 14, so I did half of that. Definitely this will trickle into next week. We'll see how far. Maybe I can get a skein out by the end of the week, though that is a high possibility. I also yesterday ended up stepping out, which is why I think I only managed to spin 14 ROLAGs, but I did bring my Turkish spindle. This is the one from Batty Fibers. It's a 3D printed Turkish spindle. This is the normal size. This here is Cormo from Myrtle Yarn that I'm spinning on it. I had 2 braids of this. I think I have a little over half a braid left. I've just been slowly working at it at the sides. So this isn't, well, this one is new, but the other little nuggets I've been working up, I'm not gonna count those in the tour. So I'm just gonna count the new ones that I take off, and then if I get to plying. I have 200-gram braids of this 100% Cormo in this green dye. I didn't wrap it too well on the underside because I was out and about. So it looks cute on the top, but underneath, it's a little bit messy. But I really like the spindle. It spins very well, and the fact that it's 3D printed, like I normally love wooden knitting accessories or spinning accessories. There's just a more craftsmanship behind it, or it just looks more aesthetic. But these ones are, I think, 21 to 26 US dollars. I'm gonna link Batty Fibers down below. They're really affordable and they're beautiful. She doesn't get her models, like she makes them and customizes them and adjusts them to work best for the spinners. It's not just something she bought off Turbo Squid and is just mass printing and mass producing, kind of like those 3D printed dragons that we see everywhere, which is ridiculous. I also just love the craftsmanship that she puts behind it. Lately, she's been releasing these super cute one with like flowers and leaf motifs on the little wings individually, which does bring me into my next point. Yesterday, we didn't talk about spindle spinning. Last year, I did have a goal to have some spindle spun yarn. I never got around to it. I was in crazy overtime crunch on the movie that I was working on, and I just, yeah, didn't have time. So it was just wheel spin. This year I would like to get a little bit of spindle spins. I've also ordered a new supported spindle that is in the mail that I hope to get before the end of the tour. And maybe I can show it to you guys. It is beautiful. I'm so excited. Right now, the spindles that I'm gonna be working up with are the 2 Batty Fibers that I have. One of them is this one, and then the mini ones. I have a Bumpa the Builder spindle that I'm gonna be using alongside with my Woodland Woodcraft spindle. I'm always tempted to say Woodland Handcraft, but I really enjoy spindle spinning. It's so relaxing and quite meditative. Not that I don't enjoy wheel spinning. This is just like the next level down. Yesterday was also the first day for the Bramble Ridge Summer Kit Fiber 6-day box. Today, let's see what it is and if my goal of doing combo drafting is gonna work. Hopefully this is a very different color than the yellow. Ooh, it's not. Ooh, I forgot to mention. So yesterday was Hanui Pearl 21.5 microns. Today is Hanui Oatmeal 22.7 micron count. I'm gonna try to do the braid once again. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get it. I mean, they're quite different. This one's like pulling a little bit more peachy and this one's very banana yellow. It honestly is really similar to the yarn I showed you guys that I finished before the TDF. I don't know. They feel really nice though. This one is definitely also much more even of a dye, just less color pops and flakes. I might put a poll on Instagram asking if I should wait for tomorrow or try a combo draft if these are different enough to do so. I did want to kind of start a different spin today while still working on my main spin, so I could also start one of the other bats on my traveler wheel that I have. Okay, we're gonna put a poll. I'm gonna keep spinning on my main spin and we'll catch up a little bit later. In my attempts to making this look prettier or more legible, I don't know if I quite succeeded, but it'll do what it needs to do, and I feel like an actual chalkboard might be even cuter. But anyways, we have lots of spinning to get to. I did have to take out my hand cards again to card some of the Rolags, like 2 or 3 of them, because the silk just hadn't carded as well, or I hadn't done as good of a job as I thought I had. I guess that's one of the perks of prepping your own wool. I can now whip out my cards and just finesse them and make sure that they will draft properly. Because another point that I'm noticing is I wasn't as successful at removing all of the second cuts. There are a few left, and I've had to remove them as I'm drafting. It's not too bad. It's just, I thought I had done a better job. For example, this little thing right here, that's like the little second blips that kind of causes, it's just really short razor cuts. And what ends up happening is when you spin those, they don't spread out or draft evenly. So you end up having kind of like, it would result in a tweedy yarn if the base wool was a different color, but then all of those little clumps were the same white. It would be like a white tweed, which could be really cool. Some people have actually kept all of these little neps and then put them in a different wool of 2 different colors, really get that tweed effect. It's now Sunday afternoon. I kind of want to start the second spin of the tour. I will not be starting with these. You guys also agreed that there could be a bigger discrepancies in between. Like, it would be more fun to have more drama in the combo plying. I think I might even wait to open up all 6 of these before deciding the color palettes and which ones I'll combo draft together. If that is even something I still want to do, I've been kind of deciding what to spin next. And I think I'm going to be working up some of my bats. So these are 2 bats from Melly Knits. This one is Cormo Cross Merino from Cedar Creek Farms, blended with 10% yak and 10% Tusa silk. I love yak, and I love this green. And then this one is Bond from Tin Lola, blended with 20% dyed Cashgora from Quebec. So I have a bin. Oh my goodness. This is so soft. If you wish hard enough, you can probably reach out and feel how soft this is, if you wish and wish it enough. This is so much more green, and it is so soft. The way Melissa ships her bats is it's 100 grams. You get 2 sheets for each, about 50 grams. And then you can just break them up as you would like to spin them, work them up. The world is your oyster. But first off, just by feeling alone, the Cashgora is much softer than the Cormo. This is Cashgora and Hohepa, and then this one here is the Cormo Merino mix with yak and Tussa silk. Just a really soft, but this one's just a little bit more softer and lighter. What is really interesting is this also kind of has some really long blackish hairs in here. I think it's from the goat. Cashgora is a goat, right? It's like cashmere. Cashmere is a goat, but it's, I guess, not as fine as cashmere. But it does have really interesting like hairs in it and textures. So I'm assuming that that's where that comes from. Whereas this one also has, I think that might be the yak, the like darker hairs, or maybe because both locks are completely white and Tussa silk, I believe, isn't a colored silk. It's interesting to see that there's also some darker hairs throughout. this bat. So hopefully that will blend really well together as a spin. So now the plan is to just split this up into sections, put them all in a bin, and as I pick them up, I spin whatever comes up. There's no actual color managing. It's just a way to kind of let the yarn take shape in itself and play around with the colors, really randomizing it. Normally, this is done with braids and not bats, or traditionally, as well as many different colors and more drastic change of colors. I really wanted to use these bats in this year's tour, and at the same time, these I think are the bats that were the most closest in color. I also want to make a yarn that I'm gonna enjoy spinning with or knitting with, and putting like bright yellow with dark green, and I think I have some purple and some black bats from Melissa. I just don't really know that I would use those colors together in a project. So here we are, mint green and a little light blue, as well as this is kind of just how I'm splitting it up, just into some long, thin strips. It's so funny, every time I get bats from Melissa Melly Knits, I always feel so bad because they're so pretty rolled up. I remember the first one I ever got, I didn't know how to spin it, if I was supposed to spin directly from the sheet because they're so pretty. I thought I was doing something wrong by ripping it apart, but like what else are you supposed to do with this? You kind of have to rip it, and it's a bummer. It feels wrong, but it must be done. It must be done. Do you see how sheer this is? It's so light. Oh no, not on the floor. The difference might be a little bit more hitting. Like this is literally the color of the basket, which is kind of crazy, unplanned. But you get an idea of how this would essentially blend in together. My traveler wheel is already set up, the bobbin's on there. So I'm gonna go find the oil for it and we'll get spinning. Happy day 4. I did not manage to film any progress yesterday. I did spin because of work, and I don't know why I thought this was a good idea to run a test knit alongside Tote de Fleece. I was basically caught from computer to computer, and then by the time I got to spinning, it was just too late. I didn't really want to film, but I did manage to spin. I managed to fill up a bobbin. So this is about 38 Rolags out of the 169. I'm enjoying the spin quite a lot. I have already discussed with you guys about the neps or the second cuttings that have been popping up. So I've been removing them. I'm now learning what I like in my prep, which is really interesting. Last year's spin was so much more just discovering what it meant to take raw wool and what all the steps were in the grand picture of things. This year, I feel like I'm learning what I like or what I could have done better with this one to make it better. So it's gonna help me with the next fleece that I'm gonna be dealing with. I think that's just something that's gonna happen. Kind of the same with spinning or knitting. As you work up projects, you learn more and more and more. So I'm enjoying this one a lot, but I've already noticed things that I would have liked or should have paid more attention to. So it kind of leaves me feeling a little bit like I'm enjoying it, but I'm also like, damn, I should have done this or did this step this way. But it's a learning experience. This morning I started working on the second bobbin already. Right now for my lunch break, I think I'm just gonna spin and try to get through a little bit more. I got through about half of these on Sunday, so that was about 50 grams, give or take, because it's 100 grams each bat, half of half. It's actually quite pretty on the bobbin already. I'm so excited to see once I ply it together. I'm still not sure if I'm doing a 2-ply or a 3-ply, depends how many bobbins I get out of it, but it's so pretty. They draft really similarly. The thing is, this one is so much airier and lighter than, this is the Cashgora blend, and this is the silk and yak. So this one just tends to draft a little thinner faster. So I just keep an eye on that, but other than that, I'm excited. I'm excited. As for Brambles Ridge, yesterday, because I skipped filming, I did not open day 3. I waited for you. So we're gonna open today, day 3 and day 4, see what these beautiful colors are. I did not get any spoilers online, which I'm quite surprised. I just barely had time to go to Instagram, so, oh my God. It's such a lovely pink. It's such a candy bubblegum pink. This one is on Hanui Pearl. It's the 21.5 microns. And if I'm right, this one was also on Hanui Pearl. Ooh, could you imagine this combo drafted? These two? That would be quite stunning. I also think this might be my nicest braid yet. Here are the days in the order. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one is on Hanui Fog, which I believe was the same as day 2. So it's gonna have a similar kind of grayish tint to it. I love lavender. Oh my God. So far, day 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sensing tomorrow's gonna be a blue or a green, and then the other day is gonna be the blue or the green. I'm really glad I decided to go with the pastel. I got worried that they were gonna be too similar, especially after seeing these 2 days. I thought it was just gonna be a little too gradient-esque, but I can actually work with this and do a combo draft. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Surprise, surprise. We're halfway through the week. It's going by so fast. I only have this much left to spin for the second bobbin of the Melly Knits wool. I started this one last night, so the 2 hours or 3 that I spun up today will basically fill up one bobbin, which is kind of crazy. I can then finally split up the 250 grams left from each, so together that's the second 100 grams. I was thinking, I don't know if I mentioned this, but my plan was initially to do a 2-ply, maybe a 3-ply, but I just did a little ply back test. I've only ever spun 1 4-ply before. Everything else I've done is 2 or 3-ply. What was the yarn for the 4-ply? I don't remember, but I really liked it, and I like how round in 3D this little ply back test is. So that's making me very excited. I would love to be able to do this before Friday. So if today it took me a day to spin up 25 grams, Thursday, Friday, and then I can ply Friday night, so I could have it to finish off the week, that would be golden. At the same time, today is day 5, so that means that we get to open day 5 of the Hanui from Bramble Ridge. I have a feeling that today's yarn or wool is gonna be either blue or greenish, just based off the color palette that is currently being made. I don't know. I was right. So tomorrow, I think it's gonna be green. But this is what it is right now. But this is the blue. I'll get a better picture tomorrow. It's gray today, rainy, and the sun is setting. I just had dinner, didn't have time to do this beforehand, so. I think it was an amazing idea to wait in the end before splitting up these colors and figuring out color palettes or combinations for the color drafting. What I was thinking is doing combo drafting 2 colors together and then doing a center pole ball so I can ply it against itself. But now I'm thinking, do I do combo draft 2 together, and let's say I do these 2 together, do I spin them as single and then ply them together? Is that gonna be nice? Again, I've never done combo applying, so I have no idea if it's gonna be hard or easy or what, but these colors, I really like them. Tomorrow's gonna be green. I have a feeling. Okay, well, this is just silly. Why did I think that this was good enough to be carded or to be spun up? Like, this definitely needs to be recarded. There's even pieces of hay in here or debris. There's a full-on clump of silk uncarded in here. It's just like unblended in. This must have been one of the nights that I was like really tired and done and just trying to get through a certain amount of Rolags, but I can't spin this. I'm gonna take out my carders after this and re-card this one. Right now, what I wanted to focus on, since it's the last day for the first week, I really wanna try and finish the 4th bobbin of my Melly Knit spin so then I can ply them and hopefully have a wool or a yarn for tomorrow. I will count this in the first week if I can successfully get it done, but that's my goal for tonight because of my main spin. I just finished the 2nd bobbin last night. It's kind of insane how big those bobbins are compared to these guys. I have worked up 4, I'm working up the 4th. I've worked up 3 of them. They're 25 grams each, and I can spin this in about like an hour or so, whereas the Majicraft bobbins, I can't fill them up that fast. So these bobbins are annoying to continuously change, but they feel so much more productive because I move through them so much faster. This is all I have left from today's last 25 grams. It's really not that much wool. I can probably whip this out in the next hour or so, have dinner, and then ply. I was gonna say card, but I will card, but just not this. Yeah, you guys know. In terms of the Brambles Ridge, I'm so happy to have waited for all of these beautiful colors. Today is day 7, but yesterday I didn't open day 6, so I'm just gonna open it right now with you guys. But I was right about the blue, so let's see. How did she say? Oh my God, okay, I was right. I knew it. And this is such, oh, it's showing up more brown on camera, interesting. But it's very much neon Shrek green, but in a light way. Why does it show up brown? So this is also on the base oatmeal. I still haven't had the hang or got the hang of being able to successfully make these braids. I think this is the ugliest one I've folded by far. I thought I would have been better by the end. This is on oatmeal. I believe this kind of orangey yellow was on oatmeal. They do look different and feel ever so slightly different because oatmeal and pearl have a different micron count in the sheep. I'd have to look back on the footage of the days, but they also have similar vibes, these three and then these three. I don't really know. In terms of the color combination and which ones I'm going to be spinning together or drafting together, I don't quite know. We'll see next week. But this is going to be really fun, and I'm glad I waited in the end. But now I can finish this spin, get the bobbin done, and ply? We'll see if I can. I think it's 6 p.m. right now. Should be enough time. This wheel is just a little bit more noisy than my other one, but it's still like a nice soothing kind of rattle. I don't mind it. But for sure the other one is better for if I'm watching a movie or TV show. This one is just, will occasionally squeak. I don't know what it is. Last year I feel like I was so much more productive than this year. I finished off week 1 with I think 8 or 11 different spins. Insane. Some of those were part of the 1-year anniversary from Melissa, which was the Blossom Club, the subscription club. So it was about I think 10 grams each spin. I also had the main spin on the Traveler wheel, so those bobbins can hold up about a little over 25 grams each. Compared to my Majicraft, I'm still not done spinning those singles and filling up the bobbins for the singles. So I was able to whip up last year some main project spins and skeins much faster, and I had many more skeins or finished yarns because of it. I did manage to finish last night, and it is still a little very damp and needs to finish drying. 1 spin in week 1. So this was the 200 grams spun up together of the bats, yak, Kashgora, Tussa silk, and then 2 different types of wools. I forget what the wools were. And then it was in a beautiful, you guys saw, shade of green and teal or light sky. I do really like the way the colors blend together, and it just looks so unified. It's kind of crazy. I'm curious to see what this looks knit up. I'm gonna be knitting a swatch and I'll post it on Instagram once I do that. So if you wanna see and are curious, I highly recommend you go follow me on Instagram. But this does still leave me with week 1 and only having 1 yarn, 1 finished project. It's a little bit of a bummer. But I'm sure next week I'll have a lot more to show you guys. So check back in then. This yarn ended up being a worsted weight, so it left me with 9 wraps per inch, all plies combined. Some places are a little bit of a 10, but the majority is 9 wraps per inch. and I finished off with 306 meters of yarn. So even though this is only 200 grams and it's super thick, it's just because how airy and fluffy the yarn is. Like, this squishes down into basically nothing. If I really wanted to knit this on a super tight gauge, I could, but because of how puffy it is, I can also go up different yarn weights with this one, which is really fun. And I actually really like the look of a 4-plied yarn. It just kind of resembles more a spherical thread or a spherical yarn. As for the main spin, I managed to finish 2 full bobbins. I'm working on a 3rd one this morning. This is all I got to do. I did do a little quick math because these have about 36 rolags on each, give or take. So with a little bit of fast math, let's say that these have the exact same amount of rolags. So this gave me about 302 grams of wool. That is about halfway through the entire spin. So basically, week 2, I should be able to finish my entire full sweater spin singles. We'll see if I can get to plying all of this. This is gonna take forever to ply. I'm also now contemplating whether I do a 4-ply because of my success with the 4-ply bats. I'm wondering if I can get 2 more full bobbins like this, that would give me less meters, but it could be a really nice squishy yarn. So we'll see. I also did manage to get a few grams added to my supported spindle, or my Turkish spindle from Batty Fibers. This one has just been my go-to travel spin project. Anytime I leave the house, I take my little spindle with me. I'm curious to see over the next week or 2 if I can finish this turtle and start a new one, maybe finish that one as well. So this kind of sums up week 1 of Tour de Fleece for me. I feel like it was a really productive one. I just don't really have much to show for it. I feel like next week it's gonna be a lot of yarn to talk about. But let me know in the comment section down below how your week is going. If you're taking part in Tour de Fleece, what are you spinning on? Or if this makes you maybe want to learn to spin some yarn. I'm really curious. Thank you again, Ana Luisa, for sponsoring today's video. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye.